The 2026 era has finally arrived, and the roar of the new engines is echoing across the circuit to Barcelona, Catalunya, bringing a mix of pure hype and high-stakes nerves. Today, our coverage is 100% dedicated to day one of the Barcelona Shakedown, where the new regulations finally hit the pavement. We're breaking down McLaren's shocking visual choice to hide their hand, diving into why Williams was a total no-show in Spain, and detailing how Mercedes and Red Bull are already setting the pace for this new technological cycle. It's the start of an unpredictable journey, and you're seeing it all unfold right here. Monday morning in Barcelona kicked off with a level of anticipation we haven't seen in years. The 2026 regulations, featuring lighter cars, active aero, and a 50-50 power split between the internal combustion engine and the electric system, represent the biggest technical hurdle in modern F1 history. And the team that stole the spotlight before the green light even flickered was McLaren. Coming into this season with the weight of defending both the Constructors' and Drivers' titles after Lando Norris's epic championship win over Verstappen last year, the Woking-paced squad decided to stun the paddock. Instead of their signature papaya orange, the MCL40 rolled out in a striking all-black testing livery. This move by McLaren isn't just about looking mean. Raw carbon black is a calculated strategy to save weight, and more importantly, to make life miserable for rival photographers and engineers trying to spec out the car's aerodynamic lines. Team principal Andrea Stella had already warned they wouldn't run on day one. McLaren opted to buy more development time back at the factory and isn't expected to hit the track until tomorrow or Wednesday. When you're the defending champ, every hour of simulation counts, and skipping the opener shows massive confidence in their project. CEO Zach Brown put it bluntly, "The worst team in F1 today is incredibly elite. There are no small teams anymore, and McLaren knows that staying on top with these smaller, nimbler cars will be a game of inches." While McLaren was playing stealth mode, the rest of the world was trying to wrap their heads around what this Barcelona Shakedown actually is. A lot of people mistake this for official preseason testing, but the dynamic here is different. There are 5 days available, but teams can only pick 3 to run. It's a closed-door event with restricted access, essentially a massive stress test to catch showstopper bugs before we head to Bahrain. The goal isn't raw lap times. It's making sure the new cooling systems don't melt down. With the batteries getting bigger and the MGUH gone, heat management is a nightmare. Since these cars don't have cooling fans, they rely entirely on airflow. Because engineers always push the limit to maximize downforce, the risk of cooking the internal components is constant. In the middle of all these debuts, Williams became the biggest bad news story of the day. The team confirmed they're skipping the entire Barcelona test. That is a massive blow for a team that's been eyeing 2026 for years. Rumors are flying about failed FIA crash tests or production delays on complex parts. For a team trying to climb back to the front, losing these initial miles means starting the year on the back foot against rivals like Haas or even Audi, who are already banking vital data. If you want to stay ahead of the curve on every technical secret and every paddock rumor in this new era, you need to subscribe to Formula News USA right now. We're bringing you the most in-depth F1 analysis in the States, and you don't want to miss a single beat of this 2026 rollout. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you're always in the loop. Also, smash that like button. It tells the YouTube algorithm that real F1 fans are here, and it helps us grow this community. I want to hear from you. What do you think of this black McLaren? Stealthy or scary? Also, let us know which city you're watching from. We want to see how far the Formula News USA reach goes.
Mercedes didn't waste a second, being the first to put a 2026 car on track the moment the pit lane opened at 9 a.m. With Kimi Antonelli behind the wheel, the W17 roared to life, and what stood out was the team's clinical preparation. While other squads were still turning wrenches in the garage, Antonelli was already stacking up laps, finishing the first hour with nearly double the mileage of anyone else. Seeing Mercedes this plug-and-play right out of the gate suggests they've learned their lessons from the past few years, focusing on total reliability for the new power unit. The young Italian didn't blink. After his installation laps, he started leaning on the car, keeping Mercedes at the top of the timing sheets for most of the morning. But, as expected, Red Bull wasn't about to get outshined. Even though they kept the real RB22 under wraps until the last possible second, the Milton Keynes crew proved their winning DNA is very much alive. Isack Hadjar, taking the reins for the testing duties, was the standout performer before the lunch break. As the Barcelona track temp climbed and the surface rubbered in, Hadjar took full advantage. In a matter of minutes, he didn't just eclipse Antonelli's time, he gapped him by 2 full seconds. Now, lap times in a shakedown are always taken with a grain of salt, but seeing Red Bull clock in at 1 minute 20 seconds, very close to what we saw during the 2022 car debuts, is a massive indicator that their aero concept is efficient right out of the box. Red Bull's performance also gives us clues about the new Red Bull Ford Power Unit. Looking at the sister car from Racing Bulls, driven by Liam Lawson, we notice some aggressive design choices, a massive top airbox inlet, and tightly packaged side pods. This suggests the Ford engine has very specific cooling and packaging requirements. Lawson was also among the first out, ensuring the Red Bull camp had a solid data set to compare the two cars, which share several internal components, including the pushrod suspension. However, the start of this new era wasn't without its teething problems. Red flags, the absolute nightmare of every engineer on test day, interrupted the flow. The first stoppage was triggered by Franco Colapinto's Alpine. The car, running Mercedes power, hit a snag in Sector 3 and had to be recovered. Shortly after, it was Audi's turn. Gabriel Bortoleto, making his official debut for the German brand, saw his car grind to a halt on track, leading to a 15-minute delay. These incidents perfectly illustrate the 2026 challenge. Getting high-voltage electronics and a combustion engine running on 100% sustainable fuel to actually talk to each other is a Herculean task. The fuel situation is a vital technical point that's flying under the radar. For this Barcelona test, the FIA allowed teams to use non-homologated fuels. Basically, what we're seeing is laboratory-grade experimentation. Some teams might be playing it safe with a protection map to avoid blowing engines, while others might already be testing the limit of the chemistry we'll see in Australia. It's also fascinating to watch how these cars behave on track. With a 66-pound weight reduction and smaller dimensions, drivers are having to relearn their braking points. The electric power delivery is way more aggressive now, and the energy recovery under braking has completely shifted the car's balance into the corners. We saw Colapinto have a bit of a moment at turn 10, a clear sign that the engine braking and regeneration maps still need a ton of fine-tuning. It's a steep learning curve, where the driver has to trust that the software will catch the car exactly how the sim predicted. Meanwhile, Haas and Cadillac are trying to find their footing. Esteban Ocon at Haas and Valtteri Bottas leading the charge for Cadillac focused on consistent banker laps. Cadillac, being the new kid on the block, was the slowest of the morning, but that's totally par for the course. Their only goal today is to end the session with the car in one piece. As the saying goes, to finish first you have to finish. Raw pace is for Bahrain. Today is about making sure the car doesn't catch fire. The silence coming from the Ferrari and Aston Martin garages this Monday definitely raised some eyebrows in Barcelona. Ferrari, with Lewis Hamilton now fully settled into his second year in red, opted for a slow and steady approach. The Maranello squad stayed off the track today, choosing to spend day one on final software calibrations to ensure the car for Charles Leclerc and Hamilton is bulletproof for tomorrow. This strategy highlights the immense pressure on the Scuderia. In a year of such radical change, any correlation gap between the wind tunnel and the track could sink their season before it starts. Leclerc has been the backbone of this car's development, and expectations are sky high for Ferrari to reveal a very polished machine when they finally break cover. Over at Aston Martin, the vibes are a bit more mysterious. Paddock rumors are swirling that their 2026 Challenger might be slightly behind its production schedule. For a team that's poured so much cash into a state-of-the-art factory, missing the first day of the most important cycle in a decade is a red flag. But we should be careful with the panic button. Just like McLaren, skipping day one could be a strategic call to maximize dyno time before hitting the bumps of a real circuit. We'll see if they can make up the lost ground over the next 4 days. One thing that technical gurus are obsessing over is active aero. For 2026, the front and rear wings move to reduce drag on straights and boost downforce in the corners. Watching this in person is the big wow factor of this test. If that wing snaps into position and the car's balance shifts too much, the driver loses all confidence. That's why the Mercedes looked so planted with Antonelli. They seem to have found an aero map that doesn't spook the driver during high-speed transitions. Thermal management is the other hidden villain. These new engines generate insane heat in very tight spaces. Packaging, or how you squeeze all those parts under the engine cover, has never been more critical. If a cooling duct is off by just a few millimeters, the gearbox oil or the battery pack could cook in just 3 hot laps. That explains why when Bortoletto's Audi stopped, the mechanics were frantic about covering the vents. They don't want anyone seeing how they're trying to dump that heat or what radiator solutions they're running. This hunt for secrets has turned the area surrounding the track into a literal spy movie set. Security in Barcelona has never been this tight. Guards were actually moving journalists and photographers off public hiking trails. The official excuse is circuit view ownership, but we all know the teams leaned on the organizers to make sure their 2026 secrets aren't dissected by the competition too early. Still, what we can hear from the perimeter is a different engine note, deeper, with a torque delivery that sounds much more instant coming out of the slow stuff. As for the tires, Pirelli put out specific compounds to see how the casing handles the new electric torque. With lighter, smaller cars, the agility is up, but the lateral load through Barcelona's high-speed turns is still the ultimate stress test. Seeing how the Red Bull suspension absorbs the curbs while keeping the floor stable explains why they were the fastest today. It's all about data correlation. If what the driver feels on track matches the computer screen, the battle is half won. Meanwhile, the disappointment over Williams is the talk of the town. Losing these 5 days in Barcelona is like handing a head start to the entire grid. For Carlos Sainz, who's now the technical leader for Williams on track, every lost mile is a missed chance to adapt his driving style to this new electric reality. Time is the most expensive resource in F1, and Williams is already racing against the clock before we even get to Australia.
Day 1 of the Barcelona Shakedown is in the books, and it leaves us with one certainty. 2026 Formula One is a completely different animal. By the end of the afternoon, the mileage charts showed that Mercedes and Red Bull are leading the pack, not just in times, but in project maturity. Isack Hadjar's lap of 1 minute 20.3 seconds proves Red Bull hasn't lost their touch in the transition to Red Bull forward power. The fact that they're so close to 2022 era times right away suggests the cars might not be the slugs some critics feared. The vibe in the paddock is one of quiet respect for how complex these machines are. We're hearing from engineers that the biggest hurdle isn't raw horsepower, it's what happens when the battery clips, runs out in the middle of a straight. Electronic mapping is going to be the game changer of 2026. Whoever can regen energy efficiently without making the car unstable under braking, like Mercedes seems to be doing, will have the upper hand in the early rounds. For Leclerc and Hamilton at Ferrari, the work starts tomorrow, and the pressure is on for the car to roll out of the garage clean, without the software glitches we saw at Alpine and Audi today. The absence of Williams and the early struggles of other teams reinforce what Zak Brown said: there is zero margin for error. The gap between a trophy and a DNF in 2026 will be measured in milliseconds, and the ability to cool components running at thermal limits. McLaren, with that stealthy black livery, should finally hit the track soon, and all eyes will be on Lando Norris to see if the defending champ keeps his crown, or if we're looking at a changing of the guard. This is just chapter 1 of a long season that ends in Abu Dhabi. Formula News USA is going to be on top of every single detail of these tests, bringing you the technical breakdowns you won't find anywhere else. If you made it this far, your support keeps this channel at full throttle. Please subscribe if you haven't yet, drop a like, and share this with that one friend who's still confused about the 2026 rules. I want to hear your takes in the comments. Who do you think is the dark horse for 2026? Can Red Bull really dominate with a Ford engine? Your engagement helps the algorithm push this channel to more fans. On the end screen, I'm dropping 2 more deep dive videos to get you hyped for the season. Huge thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.